News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KVNU.
KVNU News Time is 4:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by the Duck Hunter. The COVID death of a northern Utah resident was among the 14 new deaths reported by the Utah Department of Health today. 5 of the deaths occurred before July 19th. A Cache County woman between 45 and 64 years of age who was hospitalized at the time of death is the 121st coronavirus fatality in Cache, Box Elder, and Rich counties. The report from Utah Department of Health indicates 1,280 new COVID cases. There have been 450,539 total positives in Utah in the 16 months of the pandemic. And the total number, there were 54 new COVID cases reported in northern Utah since Wednesday. The district's total case count grew to 23,939. Within the district, 1,073 people have been hospitalized over the course of the pandemic. As of today, 1.53 million Utahns are fully vaccinated, over 47% of Utah's total population. KVNU News Time is 4:06. KVNU weather for tonight. Good chance of some more showers in our forecast. As a matter of fact, 60% chance tonight. Other than that, mostly cloudy and still a bit smoky. Overnight low around 50. And then it clears out for tomorrow. Partly cloudy, becoming mostly sunny. High temperature in the lower 70s. It's been cool today. 52 has been our high. It's 49 right now at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by Maple Springs Senior Living. Transitional rehab is perfect for an aging loved one recovering from an illness or surgery. They offer speech, occupational, and physical therapy, pain management, help with medicine, and 24-hour access to care. Learn more at maplespringsnorthlogan.com.
My friend John Hansen at the Duck Hunter has constantly educated you about the need for ductwork cleaning in your home. But what about your cabin or summer home outside the valley? You need that home's ductwork cleaned too. With high pollen counts in the mountains, dust always in the wind, and road construction ever present, the old adage of out of sight, out of mind is bad. Give the Duck Hunter a call at 770-4813 to clean out those dirty ducks in your summer home.
We are the Duck Hunter. Breathe better, save money, protect your home. We are the Duck Hunter.
KVNU News Time is 4:08. Police say a high school student attacked a school resource officer and tried to take her gun before being stopped with a stun gun. Police tell KSL-TV the student was meeting with a counselor this morning about returning to school in suburban Salt Lake City. That's when the officer was called to help deal with a commotion. Police say the student then attacked the officer. He allegedly bit and strangled her, and she tried to hold him down. Parents at the school ran to help the officer. She told them to use her stun gun. They used the taser to subdue the student. And U.S. officials have launched a review of climate damage from coal mining on public lands as the Biden administration expands scrutiny of government fossil fuel sales that contribute to greenhouse gas emissions. Interior Department officials said today that their review also will look at whether companies are paying fair value for coal extracted from public reserves in Wyoming, Montana, and other states. Burning coal accounts for about a quarter of U.S. electricity generation, and it's a significant source of greenhouse gas emissions. Demand for coal has plummeted in recent years as many utilities switch to natural gas or renewables to generate power. KVNU News Time is 4:09. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
The newsmakers, the stories. Get it all here. News Talk KVNU 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Adams Wealth Advisors' entire team says Thank you, Cache Valley, for voting them the best financial planner in the Best of Northern Utah competition. Honesty and integrity is the hallmark of Adams Wealth Advisors. Let them earn your trust today.
This is Craig Adams. At Adams Wealth Advisors, we are here to help you receive peace of mind whether you've done a lot of planning or a little planning. Count on our team at Adams Wealth Advisors for honesty, professionalism, and integrity.
Visit adamswealthadvisors.com or call 752-1702 to schedule a time with an advisor today. Please see adamswealthadvisors.com for more information on these recent awards.
If you're like most local residents, you have a huge influx of creepy crawlers invading your home. Right now, the nasty elm seed beetle is all over northern Utah. But there is a solution. Call Logan Extermination today for a full exterior spray. Their full exterior spray includes foundations and eaves and will kill those nasty spiders, wasps, box elder bugs, and the new nuisance elm seed beetles. And best of all, prices start at only $85. Call Logan Extermination today for details. 752-8450.
This is Jay from Daryl's Appliance. We love to give back to the community. From August 16th to August 28th, we will donate a portion of our sales to the Family Place of Cache Valley. One of the ways you can help us is to come look at the new Harvest Right freeze dryers we have in stock. These freeze dryers will save you money by reducing waste. That's at Daryl's, where service always comes first. Daryl's West on Airport Road. Listen for a live radio broadcast Saturdays.
See Daryl's Appliance in beautiful downtown Benson.
This is Jace Allen with Allen Mortuaries. From our family to yours, thank you for voting Allen Mortuaries Best Funeral Home of Northern Utah and Best Funeral Home of Cache Valley. We sincerely appreciate the confidence and trust your family has given us over the past 83 years. When you trust us with the final preparations of your loved one, you get the kind of caring, personalized service you can only expect from a family-owned funeral home. It's our family serving yours. Voted Best Funeral Home of Cache Valley in Northern Utah, Allen Mortuaries. Then, now, always.
For the people.
We are waiting with bated breath for news from the Cache Republican Party meeting an executive committee tonight.
With Jason Williams.
And I'm really excited about this next segment. We have two guests here in studio. We're going to talk about something that we've talked about many times here on the show, but from a bit of a different angle.
Weekday afternoons from 4 till 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People, hour one of today's show, Thursday, August 19th. I'm Jason Williams. Thank you for tuning in. Bill Walter here in the studio as well. And it being Thursday, it being 4 o'clock, hour one of the show, it's time for our weekly episode with our good friend Charlie Schill here in the studio. Charlie joins us from the CacheValleyDaily.com newsroom, where you can read his news stories on a daily basis. Also, his theater reviews from theater around northern Utah. He joins us here in the studio once a week to talk about that very thing. Where we left off last week, we'd run through some of the touring shows that are coming through, quite a bit there, actually, and talked a little bit in advance of the big opener of that time, which was Spamalot. This is a Monty Python... Charlie, I don't even know how to describe this, which I guess is kind of something you wanted to talk about, too. It's not really greatest hits, but it's not really Monty Python and the Holy Grail either. It's got some greatest hits merged into it, right?
It's got some elements of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and it's got some original stuff. About the only thing you can say about it is it's a really silly show.
Sure.
And
by design, right?
But yeah, sure. And the cast from Cache Theater Company makes no apologies and no bones about it being a silly show.
I love that.
And they commit to it wholeheartedly. And that's what makes it a lot of fun. It's definitely a total change of pace from the kind of local theater that we normally see.
Sure.
And
definitely that we've seen this summer, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of what we saw this summer was very serious. And this ain't.
But like you said, a lot of fun, which is exactly what this was meant to be, right? This is something that to get you in a seat and laughing, as I understand it. I've actually never seen this, despite the fact that I'm actually kind of a Monty Python fan. So I'm excited to have the opportunity.
I had read a lot about it and seen clips from the show, but I'd never seen the show start to finish. And it's fast paced, it's manic, it's just a lot of fun, and the audience loved it.
That is, so can we go to a little bit into the plot without kind of ruining the?
Oh, come on!
The story.
We'd be issuing spoiler alerts left and right.
That's what I've heard is that you can't.
I mean, let's be serious. If you're at all familiar with Monty Python's Flying Circus, you know a lot of these gags, and
sure.
If you're familiar with Holy Grail, you know a lot of these gags.
Is there a dead parrot?
No.
That doesn't make it in. Okay, that's one of my absolute favorite Monty Python skits was the dead parrot sketch.
What? You like? This parrot is no more.
More than. I honestly don't know.
Spot the loony. Avoid the reptile.
I don't know what it is about Michael Palin saying, "No, it's not," when John Cleese says, "This is a dead parrot." And he says so seriously in response, looking at a dead parrot on the counter, "No, it's not." There's something about that just kills me every time I see it. But sorry for the digression there. This is but this is a theatrical production, right? This isn't
sure.
just a bunch of people on stage
but
making jokes.
You've got the Knights Who Say Knee. You've got the Shrubbery. You've got Tim the Enchanter. You've got the Killer Rabbit. Those things are there.
The big nasty teeth.
Everybody knows they should be there, and they are.
That's great.
And those are the things you expect. But there's also, and this show is a lot like the original Flying Circus episodes. It's very episodic, little vignettes, not necessarily connected to each other. There's a theme running through it, but it's not running hard.
That's
and
loose theme.
The new material kind of drifts in there sideways, and you say, "Oh, gee, I hadn't thought of that idea." And a lot of it is making fun of traditional theater conventions.
Fun.
Songs. There's a production number in the second act where the cast laments that they'll never make it on Broadway because there aren't enough Jews in the cast.
It's also a frequent Monty Python joke.
Yes.
In a lot of Flying Circus episodes. This is, the cast had to have fun with this.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're having a ball. And so much of it is just completely wildly non sequitur. All of a sudden, the plot takes a twist, excuse me, goes in a different direction.
Without explanation, without...
No. Why bother being logical about any of this?
I worry about the person that bought a ticket thinking, this was some narrative about King Arthur, and there they find themselves in the theater.
Well, I wondered about that too, because the opening night audience, which was not huge, which surprised me, was primarily older people. And that's not something you normally see with a CTC show. There's normally a lot of young people, because usually there's a lot of young people in a CTC cast, and there wasn't here.
They've done their own promotion, right?
Yes. And, family and friends. But I wondered about, you look out and you see a teenager or a 20-something sitting there, and you say, okay, how familiar is that person with Monty Python material?
That's a good question.
They could be very familiar. Of course, you can watch anything on YouTube or any of the
I think
digital channels.
I'm not sure if it still is. I know most of the summer the Flying Circus has been on Netflix, which I was curious, how younger audiences might be responding to that. I guess that's a question that we should ask for people listening that might want to go see this. Do you need to be familiar to really get it, to really have fun with it?
You know what they say, it don't hoit.
It don't hoit.
But
that's because some of these are obscure references to...
You got to remember, back in the 70s and early 80s, about half of Python's audience in the U.S. was teenagers and 20-somethings who were probably higher than kites while they watched it,
Yeah.
Pass the brownies, man!
There's a famous scene in Monty Python Live at the Hollywood Bowl when John Cleese does... They did this throughout the whole tour, but while they're there live at the Hollywood Bowl in the late 70s, I think, John Cleese does a bit where he goes out into the audience as a vendor with a little table hanging around his neck and all of that, but he has no pants on. But you don't see that until he walks past you because of the long apron he's wearing. And it's a funny bit. It gets everybody laughing as they see his naked bottom go past. And he stops at a minute, and an unscripted portion references the smell in the air of all this marijuana. And then the camera pulls back, and it literally looks like he's at Woodstock. But that wasn't the traditional Python audience, right? When the Flying Circus was in its heyday?
No.
That's interesting. So I'm curious if this has a potential as a cult hit with this newest generation.
Hard to tell.
I guess another way to put that question is it dated? As you watch this, does it seem dated? Because some of these jokes are 30 years old.
But some of them are brand new.
Sure.
There's a lot of play with the character of the Lady of the Lake, who's entirely new. She's played by Catherine Paul, and Catherine Paul is gorgeous and has a voice like nobody's business. She can do these lyric numbers with that, kind of ethereal, real high soprano voice.
Oh, wow.
And she can belt out a torch song, and she is wonderful throughout the show. And she's woven into more of the numbers that are more relevant to parodies of modern theater conventions.
Okay.
And the other thing that plays really well, that gives you a break from the stuff that you expect from Holy Grail, is there are two choruses, a mostly male chorus and an all-female chorus. The Laker Girls were Catherine Paul's bevy of sexy girls.
That's
and
right.
They break into production numbers, dance numbers, at the drop of a hat.
That's funny just to imagine.
Totally no logic to it. At the beginning of the show, King Arthur is traipsing around Britain, trying to round up knights, and boy, does he get a bunch of winners. And then they go back to Camelot, where they go to the round table, and the round table is a poker table. And
of course,
Camelot looks like Las Vegas. And that gives the Laker girls time to strut their stuff, as they do.
This is fun, even just to hear about. We're talking about Spamalot. It opened just last weekend, last Friday, and it closes this Saturday. So you have 3 more opportunities to see this. You have, well, I mean, technically tonight, but I believe it's sold out. I'm not sure. 7:30 tonight. Oh no, I'm sorry, not sold out. 7:30 tonight, this is playing, and then 7:30 Friday night. On Saturday, you have a 1:30 matinee and a 7:30, which is the closing show. Tickets are available a lot of different ways, but the easiest way is casharts.org. And we'll keep talking about this because I still have questions for Charlie. I'm excited to see how Cache Valley, how the audience reacted to Spamalot. This is Monty Python's Spamalot playing here in Cache Valley. 4 more opportunities to see this tonight, tomorrow night, and Saturday, a matinee and an evening show. And casharts.org, you can get tickets. We'll keep talking about it with our good friend Charlie Schill of CacheValleyDaily.com here in studio right after this.
Welcome to Everyone's Metal Store. Home to tons of metal products for the DIYer or experienced pros. With a sales staff ready to assist with any type of metal question. Palmer's Metal Mart in Logan is your metal store, no matter the size of your project. With one of the state's best selections of metal products under one roof, you will love the price and selection at Metal Mart. For almost 30 years, for projects big or small, customers have found their home for metal products and extraordinary service to be at Metal Mart. No matter your knowledge of metal products, Metal Mart is here to serve. Give us a call or come into our store in Logan and see why we're everyone's metal store. If you need metal roofing, tubing or pipe, sheet metal, angle iron, purlins or rebar, call Palmer's Metal Mart today. When it comes to metal, just remember Palmer's Metal Mart, everyone's metal store. It's that simple. Visit us online at palmersmetalmart.com or in Logan, just east of the airport. Steel, service, and savings. See you soon.
Building a signature landscape requires design and expertise. Canyon Landscaping offers both. They've been creating, building, and maintaining landscapes for over 20 years. With a combined 100 years of management experience, their in-house landscape architecture team designs and manages each job with experienced installers who ensure a signature project. Are you ready for the yard you've always wanted? Don't wait. 752-3838 or go to canyonlandscaping.com. Canyon Landscaping. Look for the leaf.
To protect her home and family in a disaster, Karen was willing to wade through water, mud, and insurance paperwork.
Yeah, I can do this.
You go, Karen! By simply understanding and updating what her insurance covers and doesn't cover now, she'll be better prepared no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Charlie Schill of CacheValleyDaily.com here in our studio talking theater in Cache Valley. This week specifically, we're talking Spamalot. Monty Python's Spamalot opened last Friday and runs until this Saturday, closing out with a 7:30 p.m. show. And tickets are still available to tonight, tomorrow night, the matinee on Saturday, and the final 7:30 show at casharts.org. And Charlie, I had just one more question for you, but we can talk about this all hour if you want. But my last question, at least, about all this, because you brought it up before when we were talking about Spamalot was going to be coming to town. Now that it's here, you've gotten out and had a chance to see it. How did the audience react? We talked about this. How does this play in Cache Valley? Because it's not R-rated, but it's not G-rated. And
no,
there's a lot of innuendo. And
yes, and there's the S word in...
sure.
In...
trying to remember myself.
Come on.
I know what you're referencing, and I can't think of the name of the song.
Always look on the bright side of life.
Life's a pizza, yeah.
Yes.
That's the...
No,
it's irreverent.
The audience, yeah, that's a good term for it. The audience, there was a brief period at the beginning of the show where the audience is trying to find its footing, trying to work into this mindset, and then they just go,
that's funny,
helplessly hysterical.
That's great.
So it works. One thing you mentioned the show tonight, and I'm tempted to go back and see it just because they're going to have American Sign Language translation.
Oh, a Tonight Show. Wow.
Of the show. And
that would be difficult.
Tell me about it. Yeah. I mean, there are times when the French and British accents in this show are practically incomprehensible.
Sure.
I don't know how you translate that into sign language.
That's interesting.
And the dialogue is just bang, 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 bang.
Trying to emote that and sign at the wow.
I don't know how that works.
That would be interesting as a production, even in and of itself. That's amazing. I see that here. Yeah, this performance tonight. This performance will offer ASL interpretation. Interpreter will be by the stage on the audience left-hand side. Please contact the ticket office if you need assistance in seating accommodations. It's very cool they're doing that. But man, that sounds like a lot of work for that interpreter.
Challenging, very challenging, I would think.
That's a braver person than I am, to say the least. Oh man. Talking Spamalot again here with Charlie Schill of CashValleyDaily.com. And, of course, tickets still available tonight, 7:30, tomorrow night, 7:30, Saturday, 1:30, and 7:30. They're cheap, they around $25 to $17, depending on where you sit. And as Charlie has described here, this is one that would be fun, even if you have never even heard of Monty Python. So casharts.org is the website. And we'll be back with more of our guest, Charlie Schill of CashValleyDaily.com, talking theater in Cache Valley after these headlines with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 4:32, and the news is brought to you by Cache Valley Pharmacy. Heavy rain sent public works crews, firefighters, and police scrambling all over Salt Lake County yesterday afternoon. KUTV reports that a strong storm cell hit the county just after noon, causing creeks to overrun their banks in several areas and places. Mill Creek on the east side of the valley overflowed for a few hours and caused some street flooding. Standing water on I-215's east belt forced the Utah Highway Patrol to shut down the freeway for a brief time. 2 lanes of northbound I-215 were expected to remain closed for 18 hours, according to UDOT. In Harriman, a surge of water ran into basements of 2 homes. Harriman City sent public works crews to clear storm drains and help pump water out of homes. The crews and volunteers placed sandbags around the affected homes to prevent any additional water from pouring in. Also, Riverton officials said there were a few reports of street flooding at around 2 p.m., but their water had receded within a few hours. Utah Fire Info said containment on the Parley's Canyon wildfire is 80% as of this morning after 2 days of heavy rain soaked the area. The fire is still 541 acres. Many firefighters were sent away either to fight other fires or just to go home. All evacuees have been allowed to return to their homes. The rain did help out with fighting the fire, but did cause some mud flows onto I-80, which crews were quick to clean up. And marijuana advocates in Wyoming plan to begin circulating petitions in September for 2 proposed ballot measures. The Wyoming Attorney General's office this week approved the wording of the proposed questions. One asks whether Wyoming should legalize medical marijuana, and the other if Wyoming should decriminalize decriminalize marijuana. The Wyoming Secretary of State's office has begun the process of seeking bids for printing the petitions. The process ends August 25th. Petition forms in hand, the Wyoming chapter of the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws will have until February to gather enough signatures to put the measures before voters in 2022. KVNU News Time is 4:35.
This is Phil with Cache Valley Pharmacy. We love being in Cache Valley and want to thank you for your support. Cache Valley Pharmacy features the best prices in the valley, and as always, free delivery. If you're in the market for prescriptions, check first with Cache Valley Pharmacy for the absolute best prices, especially on compounds and insulin. We've been doing pharmacy better than anyone else in the valley with free delivery valley-wide for the last 19 years. Cache Valley Pharmacy, the pharmacy delivery experts. Order your prescriptions online at cachevalleypharmacy.com.
KVNU weather for tonight, mostly cloudy, patchy smoke this evening, a chance of rain showers and a slight chance of thunderstorms this evening, then a chance of rain showers after midnight. Overnight low in the mid-40s, and then partly cloudy on Friday, then clearing. High temperature in the low 70s. 30% chance of showers developing again Saturday afternoon, high around 80. It's been to 52. It's 50 right now at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by Polylift Concrete Raising and Piering. They will stabilize, lift, and eliminate any further settling by using Magnum Piering products to save you big money down the road. Polylift Concrete Raising and Piering are the foundation lifting experts. Visit poly-lift.com to schedule your free assessment or call or text 435-999-9309. Polylift is locally owned and operated. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
If you think it's expensive to hire a professional, just wait until you hire an amateur.
Why the heck is the roof leaking? Larry, you said you got it fixed.
I thought it was fixed, Donna. Everything was fine until it started raining.
Larry, that's the point of fixing the roof, is so we can actually live here when it's stormy outside.
This is David with Roof Rescue. Our experienced roofing team is tried and true and will fix your roof guaranteed. Visit roofrescueusa.com to schedule your free roof inspection. Roof Rescue, providing watertight peace of mind.
It's back to school time. You're getting the clothes and the supplies, but don't forget the haircut. The students at New Horizons Beauty College are trained in all the latest trends and techniques. Plus, New Horizons has great prices on the products to help you maintain that new look, like Redken, Matrix, Biolage, and Bricado. All services performed by students and closely supervised by licensed instructors. Oh, hey, they're also enrolling for fall classes right now. Create your own individuality at New Horizons Beauty College in Logan.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. I'm Jason Williams. Bill Walter here in the studio as well, joined by Charlie Schill of CacheValleyDaily.com. We've been talking about Monty Python's Spamalot, opened just under a week ago and closes out this Saturday with the final show at 7:30 p.m. So you've got 7:30 tonight, 7:30 tomorrow night, 1:30 on Saturday at a matinee, and 7:30 on Saturday, the final show. Tickets aren't expensive, and it sounds like it would be a lot of fun. If you are familiar with Monty Python and like it, you're definitely going to like this. If you're not, as Charlie's told us, you're probably going to like this anyway. So this is when Spamalot closes Saturday, we have a brief moment of limited options, right? And then it fires right back up going into the fall. Am I understanding the kind of the rough schedule?
Yeah, that's right. The touring season at the Ellen Eccles Theater will start September 7th.
Okay.
And We're also going to have a steady diet of local productions at the Eccles Theater. Yeah, it's going to be a busy time. One thing I want to mention, and we've tap danced around this a couple times, the Sound of Music, the Music Theater West is going to stage that starting in mid-September, September 17th it opens.
And you've confessed this is one that, not this production, but the Sound of Music in general is one that's kind of gotten a little stale for you.
Well, I'm getting a lot more interested in this production now.
Really?
Saw a cast list the other day.
Oh.
Huge cast. Huge. Okay. No problem with that. And not all the names are familiar. But way down in that list, among the singers playing nuns in the convent, is Jessica Mohammed, who played Marion the Librarian in the Music Theater West production of Music Man in 2019, and who was just marvelous. And also way down at the bottom is Lindsay Kellstrom, who had the lead in Bright Star. And I mean, Lindsay has performed with all kinds of productions, particularly during the Random Acts series that.
Oh yeah,
she performed with Ryan Shoup and the Rubber Band, and also with a concert. Can't recall which one. There were so many of them. But my point is, if you can take voices and talents like that and put them in a chorus that only has a couple of numbers.
So not even in a lead, in a chorus.
What kind of voices have you got in your leading roles?
Does pique the curiosity, right?
You bet you it does.
Charlie and I both coughing and dying here in the studio. It's the rain not even moving the smoke out of the air. So, did they try to keep that under wraps?
What, the cast list?
Yeah, was that a...
No, they put it online. I really want to dissect that cast list. And
that is interesting, because I remember... So, as you mentioned these names, they don't immediately sound familiar to me, but when you mentioned the role they played, then I remember, if I didn't see it, I remember the buzz that people were talking about. That's interesting.
It really
in a
is.
chorus.
Yeah.
So when you say a huge cast, is that not traditional for Sound of Music? As it's how many people were we talking usually? I'm trying to think of all the characters.
Well, I haven't counted on my fingers and toes yet. We're probably talking 40 or 50.
That's
a big cast.
That's wrangling cats, right? Isn't that what that's called when you have a cast that big?
Well, that's Music Theater West stock and trade.
That's interesting.
I mean, think back to that production of Music Man. Big.
Now people talked about this for months.
Yes, and big chorus, lots of dancers, lots of title characters, lots of named characters as well. Big show.
That is very cool.
That's their trademark, and it's nice to see them going back to it.
That's now when this opens. I'm seeing two different opening dates here I'm on the wrong site somewhere.
It's supposed to open on September 17th.
Okay. So that's the official. Okay. This must be a typo because I'm seeing September 7th here.
No, that's Airplay, which is the first show in the touring season.
Okay.
And that's one we've tap danced around too, because it's I don't know what to expect from it.
This is another one that's hard to describe because you can't say. I heard someone say, "Oh, it's acrobats," but that doesn't really capture
it's
it.
It's not really acrobats. The Chinese acrobats come later. This is described in a press release as a circus-style adventure of two siblings journeying through a surreal land of air, transforming the ordinary into objects of uncommon beauty. Fabrics dance in the wind, balloons have a mind of their own, confetti turns into the night sky, an enormous canopy of hovering silk alters their future.
So that implies this is a narrative. This is a story that is going to be told on stage.
Your guess is as good as
That's
mine.
interesting. Because looking at the images, I think Cirque du Soleil. I know they're doing different things than Cirque du Soleil, but it has that look to it.
I initially thought there's a couple of acrobats who work with the Odyssey Dance Troupe when they do Thriller, and they have these long streamers of silk suspended from the ceiling, and they do acrobatic movements through the silk by tying it around themselves and hoisting themselves up. Oh, it's breathtaking. Your heart is in your throat the whole time you're watching them.
That's
because they're not working with a net, boys and girls.
And being a person that's afraid of heights, that always kind of gets a little lump in my throat when I see the.
But it was that kind of thing that I assumed that this Airplay was.
But this is a different thing.
It sounds like it's entirely different.
That is interesting. And it does. Did you have that reaction too when you read that and think, oh, this is a story. There's going to be a narrative here. That's intriguing. Wow. Now, I'll be honest with you. I'd kind of put this one bottom of my list. But maybe I'll bump it up a little bit.
Well, there's some really odd things in this lineup.
Really?
When Wendy goes out to find a variety of shows, she really beats the bushes.
Her goal this time, she said, was to do some things that hadn't been done here in Cache Valley.
Well, how about the Popovich Comedy Pet Theater?
I've asked so many people, what is this about, and no one knows. I haven't asked Wendy. I should ask her.
The world-famous Popovich Comedy Pet Theater is a family-oriented blend of unique comedy and juggling skills of Gregory Popovich and the talents of his furry co-stars, 30 of them.
Wow. How do you travel with? I don't even.
That's a dog and pony show without a pony.
Absolutely. Because where do you put the pony, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't have an animal that big in it. So 30 animals, and this is. Any idea how long this show is? I know they don't usually put.
Couldn't tell you.
Interesting. And that one opens.
Oh, way, way deep in the series. May 11th.
That is, wow. One time I'd love to have a conversation. You have some experience with this. How do you get these types of shows? How does that conversation play out?
Well, there are 3 or 4 booking agencies, national booking agencies, and these acts are contracted with them, and I picture Wendy sitting there with a calendar in her lap and going out and looking at and these are probably a lot easier to do than they used to be.
Sure,
because she can probably go online and see video clips of these particular shows.
Man, I hadn't thought about the day when you couldn't do that.
And then you're on the on the phone to the booking agencies. I've got an opening on December 8th. Is so-and-so available? No. And plus, it isn't just, send the pet theater to me.
Oh, sure.
Sorry, the pet theater was in New York City last night. They're not going to fly to Utah.
They're not going to make Utah.
They have to be somewhere in your circuit.
That's interesting.
To be readily available and to be commercially, profitable. So, it's a juggling act. She's a wizard.
It's honestly, when you look at the touring schedule or the schedule of touring shows, she's done an amazing job, like above and beyond. And that's on top of, being as creative as she was last year at doing this.
With the random act shows, yes.
Which that had to be an absolute nightmare to put together. I mean, it worked, I think. But
absolutely,
imagine organizing that.
It kept live theater, live performance alive in this valley.
Sure, there wouldn't have been any.
No, there would have been nothing.
That's impressive. That's Wendy Hassan. Everybody, just a round of applause for her. We'll have to get her on the show one time to talk with us. Maybe she can, run us through, start to finish, how you got the Dog and Pony show.
I'm not sure she'll talk with us. She'll just talk.
We may not
get a word in edgewise.
We'll just sit back and watch.
That's right. And it'll be fun.
Oh, absolutely. She's hilarious. This is talking about the Cash Center for the Arts touring production schedule. These are tours that come through the valley at various times over the next several months. We also have some holiday shows coming up and more. Our friend Charlie Schill of CashValleyDaily.com here in the studio with us talking theater in Cache Valley. We'll be back with more right after this.
This is the weekly high school sports report for Green Canyon High School. Girls tennis defeated Weber in the Cache Invitational. Football won a hard-fought battle versus a very good Crimson Clips team. Green Canyon's defense stole the show with 5 sacks and 2 interceptions. And Caden Stewart returned a 99-yard kickoff for a touchdown. Cross country held their green and silver meet. Dylan Chambers and Jackson Mons placed first and second. The Green Canyon High School Sports Report is brought to you by Advanced Heating, Aero Fasteners, Alpine Cleaning, and Cache Bridgerland Animal Hospital.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. I'm a better neighbor because my service has taught me how important it is to be a team player. My training helps me in my classes when I give attention to detail to the task at hand. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my country safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Utah Army National Guard. Aired by the Utah Broadcasters Association and this station.
Friday edition, Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show. Couple of awesome guests to close out the week for you. We'll have former NFL quarterback Jay Cutler, who ended up losing a lot of money over saying masks don't work, and Alex Berenson. Plus, Buck,
we'll be talking about the latest from Afghanistan. Are we getting Americans out? Is the Biden administration waking up to this reality on the ground? That and more coming up on the next Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show.
10 to 1 on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Friday on This Morning, America's First News, a look at how we got here inside the violent and oppressive history of the Taliban in Afghanistan. Will they operate differently this time? Also, as COVID-19 surges thanks to the Delta variant, drugs that went largely unused early on are now being embraced. And the best and worst ways to raise cash in a pinch. Friday on This Morning, America's First News.
From 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM. Your station for news and talk.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Wrapping up hour 1 of today's show here with our friend Charlie Schill in studio talking theater in Cache Valley. You can read Charlie both news stories and theater reviews at CashValleyDaily.com each and every day. We've been talking, wow, we cover so much ground every hour. So we start out your review of Spamalot. Still 4 shows where you can see that. We talked Cash Center for the Arts, schedule of touring shows going from basically 1st of September to May. And in between all of that, we've got holiday shows. This is interesting. Pickleville, and I even called and asked if someone over there wanted to, tell me why, so that I could say, as I brought this up here on the show, why. But Pickleville added tomorrow night, they added 2 screenings of Peter Pan. It was supposed to end last Saturday,
Yes.
and they added 2 more this Friday only. And have you heard anything? Was that audience demand? Was it the popularity of?
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was audience demand. If you've got people beating down the door to want tickets, they run waiting lists for people to get tickets.
That's amazing.
That is a fascinating operation to watch. The Davis family is amazingly talented. They have a steady stock company of other young performers that they bring in.
Sure. From all over the nation.
The level of talent that they put on that little tiny stage is amazing.
And it is literally a tiny stage. If you've ever been in the first few rows.
It's a postage stamp.
It is. Some of the productions they managed to pull off there honestly amaze me.
I did a walk-on in Arsenic and Old Lace that Lyric did several years ago. And the Lyric stage looks small. And when you're on it, it's tiny, but it's big compared to the stage at Pickleville.
That's I'm curious. Maybe we should reach out to him and ask him when they come to Logan to do when they have the cast come and do
the Christmas show in the Eccles.
Is that weird for them to suddenly be on this? The largest that is the largest stage in Cache Valley, right?
Sure.
That's and they're used to this. Not much bigger than this table, actually, that you and I are talking over here. That's honestly, it's amazing what they're able to do, and it's cool to know that they have these hits that where they have to start adding shows. Now their season isn't over, right? They've got the melodrama still running.
They'll continue the melodrama for another 2 or 3 weeks, I guess.
Is it?
And then they'll be dark for a couple, 3 weeks, and then they'll bring up Addams Family.
That's going to be a fun one.
I'm looking forward to seeing the cast list there and seeing who's new and who's returning to their same roles. Because that is a wonderful show.
The story behind that, you told us last week, I know, but for those that weren't listening, the fact that this is what everyone they polled basically. Regular ticket buyers, pass holders, and people in the theater community, and they said, "What do you want us to do for our fall holiday show?" And everybody said, "Addams Family again."
Yep,
I thought that was great.
They had the option of Little Shop of Horrors, Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, and one more. I'm trying to think, can't remember, but they had all the shows were kind of Halloween themed.
Sure.
And everybody said, let's go back to Addams Family again.
That's amazing.
It's worth driving up through that canyon to watch that same show over and over and over again. It's wonderful.
I honestly think one of the most talked about shows the year they first did that was just I don't know if it was there's a comedic production, so I don't know if that is what made it a hit or if it was the timing,
Well, it was the first time they'd done a fall show.
Sure.
And it was Halloween themed, and the kids wear Halloween costumes to it, and it's raucous good fun, just like Peter Pan was.
That's sometimes I think that is the easiest way to draw a crowd. Everybody likes a good drama, a good murder mystery, but you get people laughing and having fun, and the cast having fun. I don't think there's a more memorable theater experience, for me at least. Charlie, a pleasure to have you here in the studio, and can't wait to talk more about this. Charlie joins us every Thursday at 4 o'clock to talk theater in Cache Valley, but you can read Charlie's reviews, news stories, and more at CacheValleyDaily.com throughout the week. He'll be back with us next Thursday at 4, and we'll be back with you, our listeners, in Hour 2 of